So for me, getting into the game, I came into the game with Smoke One. Rest in peace to the homie Trey 8, man. One of the best artists out of New Orleans. First record label, Smoke One, to do a joint venture with No Limit. So that's the camp that I came from, Smoke One Records. And my name was Hennessy. And, doing that kind of music, just talking about things I personally experienced and things I was right next to, I never really saw the destruction that I was causing or the destruction that I was promoting. And then fast forward, things changed in my life. I started going to church in '99, and my worldview began to change. And I'm not talking about no spooky stuff like that. I'm just talking about a complete worldview. I was able to see at that point, all right, this stuff that I'm doing, this stuff that I'm saying is causing more damage than it's doing good. And at that point, I'm forced to make the decision, am I just going to chase after this dollar? Because at the end of the day, that's all it's about. Am I going to chase after this little change and ruin another kid's life? Or should I make some changes? Because that was good. You saw what I did there? Changes. I digress. If I'm walking down the street and I see a kid getting ready to get hit by a car, I'm naturally going to react. I'm going to reach out and try to grab that kid. Complete stranger. And I feel like the average human being would do that when it comes down to a kid. You may not react like that to an adult, but if you see like a kid about to get hurt, you will intervene. And so that's what happened with me when my worldview changed, man. Like, I saw kids getting hurt, just coming up in the city. Every gun we had, every drug we did, the clothes we wore, it was because a rapper told us to do it, rather in the indirect way or in the direct way. And so it's like, I had to look at it like that. I couldn't ignore the fact that I was causing more destruction than being helpful. So that's why I do what I do. I can't just take away this negative music, because life is negative. It's yin and yang. It's negative and positive. These light and darkness work together. You have to see something negative before you can see it as positive, and vice versa. That's if you take away that choice, and I feel like you're making mannequins, you're making robots. People have to be able to choose. That's the beautiful thing about God. But what I decided to do was create the alternative. So what I do in my music is I make sure that my music is not so church to where I lose the streets, and it's not so street to where I lose the church. I asked God when I started doing it this way in '99, show me a way that I can stay in the middle so I can speak to both people at the exact same time, because music is such a powerful tool. Try it. Like, after you watch this video, go ask somebody to say the ABCs. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, they are going to sing the song. Nobody is going to be like A, B, C. Nah, people A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's just, music just does that to your conscious and to your subconscious. So that's why I do what I do, to create this alternative for people that love hip hop, but they want to get away from the negative messages of hip hop. And I don't ever want to come across like I'm saying, all hip hop is just trash. Man, it's a lot of artists that say some amazing things that you can live by. Your Boosies, your Jeezys, your Lecrae's, your D1s, your Pacs, your Scarfaces, Nas. We can go on and on and on, man. Everybody has this negative and positive divide within them, but you as a person, you have to be able to sit down and decipher, what is this stuff doing for me as I let it feed my spirit? Am I the type person that can just look at it as entertainment and then just go on with my life? Or when I look around my life, do I really find myself living this music? If I need to get in this type of mood, do I have to put this record on? When I put this record on, what does it mentally do to me? Like, you have to be honest and tell yourself that. So that's why I do what I do. I wanted to make sure that I step in the game and that I give people an alternative, man. That I tell the other side of the story that it seems like a lot of people just don't tell. We glorify everything that destroys our community, but we never talk about the negative aspects that come along with that. So that's why I come in. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna tell that other side of the story that a lot of cats keep trying to hide. You know, with music, I've been a music lover all my life. You know, since I don't know, 5, 6 years old. I've just always loved music, and growing up in it as a fan, and then developing into a writer and a performer myself, and just going through the ebb and flows of life, where you transition from one dynamic to the next dynamic. I began to realize, one, the power of music, and two, how hypocritical music can be. And I hate it, because it's my genre that I love. But hip hop is the most powerful force in music, but it's also the most hypocritical. You think about, if you look at a Colgate commercial, whatever, toothpaste, any kind of commercial, it can be for waves, it can be for cars, whatever. As they repetitiously show this commercial, exploits the interests of the consumer. And then eventually the consumer, say, well, you know what, I keep seeing this, let me go and check it out. That's marketing 101. Nowadays, it's so spooky to where you can be on your phone talking about a certain kind of computer or something, and then when you log into your social media on Facebook and Instagram or something, you'll see a daggone advertisement for the very thing that you was talking about. So it's on a whole nother level, but that's just marketing. So when you think about music, it merges with culture. Obviously, music drives culture, and so I'm not gonna say it drives culture. I'm gonna say it intermingles with culture. It's the sound. Music is a soundtrack for culture, and now we live in this culture to where let's just use police brutality and the killing of innocent people, man, with no guns, anything, which is absolutely horrible. We all stand up in unison together, and we against it. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. But then we'll go right back and we'll cut on this song that promotes the same community destruction, and we just look at it like it's just a song. But it's not just a song, and I've had this conversation many times with my peers. I've had it with Bun B, Talib Kweli, Trey Truth, Lupe Fiasco, just name some bigger names, and just in barbershops and things like that. We always have this conversation, and it's two main things that always come up whenever you start talking about the hypocrisy of music, and especially when you point it towards hip hop. One, it's not my job, the artist, to raise your child, which is true. And then two, it's just music. And those two things, well, let's deal with the first one. No, it's not no rapper's job. It's not NBA Youngboy, Boosie, J. Cole. It's not none of their jobs to raise my children and raise your children. That's an obvious thing, I think. However, we do understand that as an artist, when you have a microphone, you have a platform, and especially when you add fame to that microphone and that platform, your voice becomes loud. And like Spider-Man's uncle said, with great power comes great responsibility. So that's the charge that I will put on that. But I have to, respect the point of, it's not the rapper's job to raise my children. But I can go a little harder on the aspect of it's just music. One of my favorite movies is Menace to Society. When I watch Menace, I see everything is about. One of the main characters is O-Dog, played by Lorenz Tate. Now, he did a phenomenal job selling the character of O-Dog. But if you catch Lorenz Tate as Lorenz Tate, he's going to let you know that that's just a character. Like, that's not who I am. That's not what I do. And when you go over to rap, a rapper can't say that. A rapper can't say, unless they're in front of judge. When they're not in front of judge, the main thing is going to be, this is really who I am. I'm really a Crip. I'm really a Blood. I really sold drugs. I'm really a gangster. I'm really this. Like, everything I rap about is real. I did it. I was right next to somebody doing it. Or I'm capable of doing it. So that's the difference. Like, rap is real, according to that artist. And so it's like, when you compare that to, okay, we can say that it's wrong for this white person to come in and police our community in this negative way, which causes destruction, then why can't I charge you with that same thing, man? Your music is causing destruction. How can on one end we want to This the Me Too movement, right? Think about it. Everybody getting it. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, everybody. Cuba Gooding Jr. And hey, maybe they deserve it, maybe they don't. That's not my argument here. But the point is, this is the era of the woman. Women are rising up. But then look at some of the women that we champion. Look at your, I don't want to name the names because that gets confusing. So just look at some of your hip hop stars. You plug in what you choose to plug in. I'm not going to create no fictitious argument. You plug in who you want to plug in. Look at what they represent. Do they represent what we consider to be black queens or young queens? Do they represent that? Do they carry themselves as royalty or do they carry themselves as peasants? Look at that woman that's represented on that stage and then look at your daughter and see if you want those two things to come together. You know what I mean? And so these are the issues that I have with music. I feel like if we do a better job at changing the message, I know because I've lived it, we would do a better job at saving our communities, because these youngsters, the ones coming up under us, these kids is coming in this game, they are living hip hop. And so if we just change our message, I'm not telling you what to rap about. All I'm saying is if you go talk about the glorification of crack, let's talk about the negative aspects of crack. If you go talk about the glorification of robbing and doing drugs, let's also talk about the negative aspects of robbing and doing drugs. If we go talk about being promiscuous and doing this with your body to get the bag, hey, let's talk about the negative aspects of that too. All I'm saying is, at some point in time, we need to look at our own culture and take more responsibility for it. I'm just saying. Music is essential. It's a universal language. One could argue that music has done more for racial relations than any activist has ever done. It's a universal language. I've gone across the United States to overseas, to Brazil, and to London. It's just amazing how music, it just absolutely connects everything. Prime example, people in Brazil, they speak Portuguese, but when that beat comes on, they can't catch every word, but as far as with the rhythm and the repetition of the hook, they catch that, and they speak an entirely different language. So music, it's a connector, man. As soon as you hear it, it brings you back to a moment in time. It can alter your mood, take you up, down, sideways, make you happy, make you sad, make you angry. As a musician and as a songwriter and as a dancer, I used to dance, choreograph. I've seen a lot of things. One of the funniest things I can think about music, I had a DJ friend of mine, and in New Orleans, the clubs close early. The clubs don't close early, rather. Everything shuts down 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. So on this particular night, he wanted to go home early. So he told me he was about to shut the club down. I'll never forget this. I was like 14 or 15, something like that. Yeah, I was in the club. That's a whole other story. Don't worry about it. And so he played a series of songs. And I watched him take people from partying, having a good time, to all of a sudden, another song came on. They started throwing their sets up. Another song come on, and you see these smiles turn to frowns. Another song come on, the whole dance floor is rumbling, club gets shut down. Now the people didn't realize it, but they absolutely allowed that DJ to control the mentality and their movements just by a series of songs, man. So that's how powerful and essential music is. So now, man, I have a lot of music, man. It's real easy to get to. You can go to iamgifted.net, iamgifted.net. Everything is centralized there. Also, you can just you can Google it, but if you go in the streaming platform, you type in Gifted, the Flamethrowa, all my stuff comes up. I also did a group called Raw with my homie 007 from the Fit War Boys, Rap A Lot alumni. You can stream our album Raw America, RAWMERICA. You can also stream our other project. It's called The City Never Sleeps, Gifted in 007, and the last EP we dropped is called The Raw Report. stream those. Check that out, man. For the future, I got a lot coming. On my website, I already have 12 mixtapes. All for free, all free download. I have 2 retail albums, the Street Symphony and Bulldoze City. And right now, I'm working and recording, got some heat. I'm still kind of teeter-tottering on what I'm going to name it, so I'm not going to say what I'm going to name it at this time. But I got some heat getting ready to come, man. So make sure you just log on to the website. Follow me on all social media at The Real Gifted. And just, man, get connected. Let's connect, man. Let's converse. Let's talk. Let's argue. Let's do everything. Let's do life together as we go on this journey, man. Because I'm trying to change the world one verse at a time. Get it!